This episode is entitled Transparency. There's no cheerful music. There's no element of, hey, let's party. It's literally, I'm at the place in my life to tear down the walls and be exposed. Full transparency. Not only for you, the listener, but for me. You see, my name is Dina C. Brown. Actually, it's Dina Marie Kowser Brown. I am a 47-year-old mother of the amazing 17-year-old Xavier. And as I sit here and process all that life has brought me, all that I have been through, all that I will engage in, I realize that there are some areas of my life that have masked some growth potential in my tomorrow. You see, after I did a podcast episode this morning called Don't Be Afraid to Let Go, I realized that there was more in my spirit that I needed to share. There was more that I needed to talk about. There was more. And what came, and I was getting ready to post on Facebook, was the big question. Do your phantom limbs cloud your purpose? Do your issues from your past actually, is that where your purpose is buried underneath? And I have learned when these moments hit me, this verbiage hits me, these ideas hit me, that I need to think it out. And so I wanted to entitle this very raw and this very bare episode just Transparency. You see, I've been doing a lot of reflection on my life because I know that I'm called to serve and inspire, empower, and transform other people's lives. But it's really through my transparency and my testimony of what I've been through. You see, I'll share glimpses, but I'm an extremely private person. But I realize in order to have breakthroughs, I have to break free of all that I didn't say, I didn't have the courage to say. Or when I'm thinking about, I kept saying, is it my courage, or I don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or I don't want to unmask the reality of the situation. And so I realized that what's been holding me back is me. What's been holding me back is not telling the fullness of my story. Not really beginning to share in full transparency about the little girl who, sat on the porch of the stairs at school because her mother refused to come and pick her up. Or the 12-year-old who walked several miles home late at night from a school field trip because I didn't have a ride. Not because there was no one with a car, but because for whatever reason and whatever demons that my mom carried, she just chose to let me, a 12-year-old little girl. So when we talk about resilience, or when we talk about getting to the next and trusting and building and counting on people and making decisions about what's next in our life, we have to go back to the truth of our story. We have to go back to those moments in our life that have defined us and really begin to deal with them and to deal with the hurt and deal with the pain and shed all that so that we can truly grow and live in the next phase of our life. So I'm not sharing this because I'm bearing any grudges, because I've just kind of I've learned to deal with that. I've learned to just mask and pretend it didn't exist, or that, I just championed on, or it's gone and forgotten. But the reality is it isn't. Because in this 47-year-old woman is still that 12-year-old little girl who had to literally fight for everything she really wanted, and who had to strategize for everything that she really needed. And I'm not talking about food. I'm not talking some of the day-to-day. I'm talking about really the purpose piece, and believing and walking and pouring into herself before she was pouring into others. Because that desire to help shape and build others' businesses and dreams and all of that kind of stuff is part and parcel to, I understand, the struggle of having to do that on your own. And then some of it is just a gift from God, to be honest with you. And I don't mean this to sound vain or anything, because it's not. The fact that it's just who I am. It is part of my DNA. So this whole concept, someone asked me the other day, where did you get walking through glass from? Where did you get it from? And I realized I've been walking through glass my whole entire life. Because the same woman that told me that our place as Fletcher women, as powerful, dynamic women, was on the top, was the same one that broke me down to my lowest points through words and deeds and actions. And so to struggle and battle between understanding and owning your brilliance, and then having to kind of go back and mask that because it wasn't the strangers were going to treat you different. It was because your own mother was going to treat you different. And I will tell you that our relationship has changed over the years. And in the last couple of years, the woman that, to me, at certain points in my life I felt was my greatest foe, has become my greatest champion. So I don't share this to say my mom was a bad person. She did the best that she knew to do what she got, and she's smart and she's brilliant, but she has her own demons and phantom limbs, and especially beginning to operate in her purpose. And as I sat here and I just began to process the hurts and decided to be more courageous about what I believe in, which is myself, I realized that where did this come from where I didn't want to shine? I knew that I could. I knew that I had the power. I knew that people were drawn to me. But where did the feeling of the shame and the shine come from? And I don't know if this episode if I'll ever post it or publish it. I don't know. Because right now, this is just full transparency. This is just me processing through all of the things that continue to marinate and now I believe to infect my vision of where I'm growing to. And so you think you're over things, you think that you're past things, you think that things no longer affect you, but the reality is that they do. They just do. And as you do your day-to-day walk, as you look at what's next for you, as you deal with fears and anxieties and even phobias about who you are and where you're supposed to be and how will you get through, it's in that you have to go back and look at what's been scripted as part of your narrative. What has been scripted as part of your narrative? And I realized subconsciously there's some scripts that I've never dealt with. There's some scripts that I've never processed through. There's some scripts that I haven't owned because for whatever reason I felt that, you know what, if I don't think about it, it'll just go away. Or if I just make up for it, then that never happened or that didn't really matter. Or, and you can fill in the blank, there's more to that particular part of the story. But as I walk in this new season of being able to ask for what I want expect to get what I need and align myself with people that support me, I realize that I have to make some changes. I have to make some changes. And I keep saying the inner work is not pretty. Sometimes it's not pretty at all. And I just the true meaning of excelling, the true meaning of speaking these things out loud, because you'll have these conversations in your head, but you never speak to them. You never share them, and so they fester in your spirit. And when they fester in your spirit, they begin to impede and cloud your purpose. So I just needed to exhale. I just needed to take a few moments to just be fully transparent with myself, so that I can really level up to where I need to grow to. And like I said, this is raw, unplanned, unscripted, but it was so necessary to share. I am not going to share this across the different platforms. However, if you happen, I think I am going to post it, because I just feel that somebody else is feeling the same pain that I'm feeling. Somebody else out there is dealing with some things that I'm dealing with, and they need to hear this message. Because for my whole entire life, and I mean my whole life, 47 years, I've continuously had people say to me that the manner in which I interact, or the manner in which I present myself, is condescending, is what is the other word that they use? There's like, I have a superiority complex, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. The furthest thing from the truth. And I have high expectations, but I have them for myself. And I really approach people with a spirit of support and help. And they don't have to process me the way that I process me. So that's where the phrase, I don't ask for validation, but I do appreciate your feedback. So I do take stock. I do get frustrated. So sometimes my reactions should have been responses. And so I do own that. And so maybe those things might come across in frustration. But as far as who I am as a person, that's not me. And so on this journey of really digging deeper and doing the inner work, I realized that this has been an attack on me for a very long time. And part of those scripts that were planted in my subconscious, I now have to make them conscious so I can deal with them. And although I understand that I am not perfect, I know that I am purposeful, and that my mission, my calling, my divine narrative includes inspiring, empowering, and transforming people's lives. How I do it may shift and change, but I know I'm called to do it. And I don't need to be ashamed of that. I don't need to be ashamed for being smart. I don't need to be ashamed for not being the best version of myself, because I know that I can do more, I could give more, I could be more. But I told myself that if I did, it would draw unnecessary attention, and people would make inappropriate conclusions, and they really wouldn't get me. But you know what? It's a new day. I've had a paradigm shift. I have a new understanding. I'm still doing some inner work. And now I'm committed to also sharing that with you. So I wasn't going to share this episode. I'm not even going to make it an episode. It's just going to be titled Full Transparency. And I invite you to listen. But the better part, I invite you to just learn from my growth, journey, and go deal with some things that you may have buried. Because I promise you, if you don't get clear about that and remove those phantom limbs and take out all that clutter, then it's going to truly cloud your tomorrow. And that's what I got for you today. Full transparency. This is as raw as it's going to get. And I appreciate you. And share if you want to, if you think somebody needs to hear this. If you do happen to listen to this episode, I really appreciate, you providing some feedback, because this next season that I'm in, it's really about leveling up, growing up, and taking action. And October 4th through 6th, I am kicking off Tabula Rasa 2019 in Sedona, Arizona. And I'm going to invite 4 women to accompany me on that trip. And on that trip, it's really about really getting clear, building irrevocable confidence, and really developing some airtight and consistent strategies and plans for living our best life today. And it will start by, Tabula Rasa means blank slate. It's actually like clearing that videotape and those mind movies that don't serve you. They don't add value to you. They're doing nothing to help you become a better version of you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing if you share. But more importantly, the best way that you can support me is to grow. So this is Dr. Dina. And this was a bonus of your daily dose of Dr. Vitamin D. Have a great one.